What would you do if your quiet sanctuary was invaded by someone who thought they owned the world? In the small town of Willow Creek, where the lake pool behind my house shimmered like a secret kept between the pines, I learned the answer the hard way. My name is Clara Hensley, and this is the story of how one man's arrogance turned my peaceful retreat into a battleground, and how the consequences cut deeper than I ever imagined. It started on a humid July evening, the kind where the air clung to your skin like a second shirt. My lake pool, a natural basin fed by a clear spring, was my haven. I'd spent years tending to it, planting wildflowers along its banks, building a small dock where I could read or sip coffee as the sun dipped below the horizon. It was my late husband Tom's dream, to a place we'd carved out together before cancer stole him away. The pool wasn't just water. It was memory, love, and a promise to keep living. Enter Sun Nguyen, the new president of our neighborhood's homeowners association. Sun was a man who wore his authority like a crown, striding into Willow Creek with a swagger that screamed big city lawyer. He'd moved into the McMansion up the hill, all glass and sharp angles, and wasted no time enforcing his vision of community standards. No one dared challenge him, not when he fined Mrs. Carter for her overgrown roses or demanded the Parkers repaint their mailbox to match the HOA's approved shade of beige. But I kept my distance. My little cottage by the lake pool was on private land, outside the HOA's jurisdiction, or so I thought. One evening, as I sat on my dock with a book, Sun appeared at the edge of my property, his polished shoes sinking into the mud. He was flanked by two other HOA board members, both looking like they'd rather be anywhere else. "Clara," he said, his voice slick as oil, "we need to talk about your pool." I raised an eyebrow, closing my book. "It's not a pool, son. It's a natural lake. And it's mine." He smiled, the kind of smile that made your stomach twist. "Not for long. The HOA's hosting a summer gala, and your lake is the perfect venue. We'll need it next weekend." I laughed, thinking it was a joke. But Sun didn't flinch. He handed me a letter, stamped with the HOA's logo, demanding temporary access to my property for community use. I tore it up right there, letting the pieces flutter into the water. "This is private land, son. You don't get to waltz in and claim it." His eyes narrowed, and for a moment, I saw something dangerous flicker in them. "You'll regret this, Clara," he said, turning on his heel. His lackeys scurried after him, leaving me with a sinking feeling that this wasn't over. The next few days were a blur of tension. Sun's campaign began subtly. Neighbors I'd known for years stopped waving, their eyes darting away when I passed. Then came the flyers, plastered on every lamppost, accusing me of hoarding community resources. By Friday, a petition circulated, demanding I share my lake pool. I ignored it, but the pressure was mounting. My only ally was Ellie, a young artist who rented the cabin next door. She'd moved to Willow Creek to escape the city, her paint-splattered overalls and wild curls a stark contrast to the HOA's sterile aesthetic. "Sun's a bully," she told me over coffee one morning. "But he's not invincible. We just need to outsmart him." The gala was set for Saturday, and by noon, my worst fears materialized. A convoy of cars rolled up, disgorging caterers, decorators, and a DJ setup. Sun led the charge, directing workers to string lights around my lake pool. I stormed out, heart pounding. "Get off my property," I shouted. Sun turned, his smile infuriatingly calm. "Clara, this is for the community. Don't make a scene." I was shaking, but I held my ground. "Leave, or I'm calling the police." He laughed, a cold, mocking sound. "Go ahead. They won't touch me." I dialed 911, my hands trembling as I explained the trespassing. The dispatcher promised a quick response, but as I hung up, I noticed Ellie slipping through the crowd, her phone in hand, recording everything. "Keep going, Clara," she whispered. "I've got this." The police arrived within minutes, two officers who looked as exasperated as I felt. They ordered everyone off my property, but Sun wasn't fazed. He argued, citing HOA bylaws and community rights, until one officer, a grizzled veteran named Officer Daniels, cut him off. "This is private land, Mr. Nguyen. "You're trespassing. Clear out or you're all under arrest." The crowd dispersed, grumbling, but Sun lingered, his eyes locked on mine. "This isn't over," he hissed before storming off. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. The twist came that night, when Ellie knocked on my door, her face pale. "Clara, you need to see this." She showed me her phone, where she'd uploaded the video of Sun's invasion to the town's online forum. The comments where explosive neighbors I'd thought were against me were now furious at Sun, sharing their own stories of his overreach. But the real shock was a comment from an anonymous user, Lakewatcher. "Sun's been skimming HOA funds for his gala. Check the budget reports." Ellie and I dug into the public records, and there it was, thousands of dollars funneled into event planning, with no receipts to show for it. Ellie's video had cracked open a scandal. The next morning, I marched to the HOA meeting, Ellie at my side, and presented the evidence. The room erupted. Neighbors who'd shunned me now demanded answers. Sun tried to deflect, but the tide had turned. By the end of the week, the county launched an investigation, and Sun was banned from holding any HOA position countywide. His McMansion went up for sale, and he vanished from Willow Creek as quickly as he'd arrived. But victory came at a cost. The lake pool, once my sanctuary, felt tainted. Every ripple reminded me of the invasion, the betrayal of neighbors who'd turned on me before they turned on Sun. Ellie tried to cheer me up, painting a mural of wildflowers on my dock, but even her kindness couldn't erase the bitterness. One evening, as I sat by the water, I realized the truth. Sun hadn't just demanded my lake pool. He'd exposed the fragility of the community I'd loved. I'd fought for my home, but it no longer felt like mine. In the end, I sold the cottage. The new owners, a young couple with a baby on the way, promised to cherish the lake pool as Tom and I had. As I drove away, the wildflowers blurring in my rearview mirror, I felt a pang of loss sharper than anything Sun could have inflicted. Sometimes, winning the battle means losing the war. ND.